Okay, I'm gonna get this thing set up over here. How you doing? How you doing? All right, so we see what's up here, and those that are just getting introduced to technical advanced airplanes, you hear, what's it doing now? And those of you who've been around the pipe a little bit say, it's doing it again. So the thing is, we have to put the A's and the B's and the C's together here to come up with what we have to do. And today's conversation between you and I is going to be what's the ups and what are the downs? Because aviation is all about ups and downs, right? Right? Ups and downs. There are only two emergencies. Every single time you fly, what are the two emergencies you always have? The takeoff and the landing. What else is there, right? Okay. How about what? Over 40 problems. There you go. All right. Take the advanced airplane. Oh, do I have this thing on here?
Oh, good.
Yeah. How many it is?
Oh, just put it in.
Okay. So, that's when it all started. Thanks to the Wright brothers, a bunch of bicycle guys turning bicycles into flying stuff, right? And then we move into, flew out of Mitchell Field, Garden City. So this whole thing started on instrument stuff, right? But old Jimmy Doolittle, he didn't do little, he did a lot, right? Now, I want you to take a good look at this bottom picture right here. That's very close to being a technically advanced airplane, by definition. Very close. Well, now we're getting even closer. Yeah, we're getting closer yet. Uh-oh. I think we're there. This F-86 fighter. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think that little box up there could be a Garmin 430.
They have them when they were flying over the Yarrow?
I have no idea. I wasn't getting shot at over there. I got shot at in Nam, but I wasn't with that thing. So it's got a moving map in it. That's cool. And it probably has a 3-axis autopilot. Yeah. Well, gee, but I don't see a PFD and an MFD. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll give you what those acronyms mean. And by the way, over here, we have 3 technically advanced airplanes. And at the end of the event here, Don has arranged that the Foresto will be available for you all to take a look at. The series was locked up, and but it's pretty much the same thing. So moving on here. So here we have this. Uh-oh. The fantastic 707. Let's see what that's got. Nope. I don't see what I need to see in terms of electronics. Well, there could be this FMS in here, but FMS, those of you that are familiar with the flight management system, is the computer brain of the airplane. Now you log in your flight plan, you log in your weight, you do this, you do that, and it pops up and it gives you your speeds, your V1, VR, V2, all that good stuff. And then it knows how much fuel you burn, it gives you the landing weight, it tells you both the gross landing weight or limit or not. But it really doesn't move into this TAA environment. Wait a minute. A300. When this first came out, when I was with the FAA, by the way, I'm going back March 17. They call me more now than they did when I worked for them, for God's sakes, wow. Anyway, when that airplane first came out, I spent some time in Oklahoma in the A330. And wow, and my first technical advanced airplane was a Gulfstream 4. After flying the 727. Whoa, beautiful. And my first job out in service, Air Force, was I got a job with Beechcraft, delivering new airplanes. Collins came up with the ADI and the HSI, all electronic, and we came across the dummy switch. What the heck is the dummy switch? When we took a look at this thing, it had more symbology than we knew what the heck to do with. We didn't know this stuff. So dummy, until we got down to basic ADI and the basic HSI. Okay, now we can find this cable someplace. Well, then we had to spend time with the new owners teaching them about things we knew nothing about. But we learned. All right, we learned. And then things started to happen. Whoa, here we go, 550. Isn't that a nice picture?
Yep.
Yeah. What's it doing now? Now it's doing it again. Yeah, nice. Well, there's a lot going on here. It looks great. You know, yeah, I know you guys go out to dinner, the young ladies go out to dinner, you look across at the next table, what do you see? Oh, they're at home. Is there communication with this? I teach at SUNY. I got one of my students is over here now. He's in the military. He's going to be a military driver. And he's one of the few people in the class that when I talk to them, he looks me in the eyes. Whereas the rest of the crew doesn't. The rest of I call them crew because we all have crew in the classroom. And they don't. Right, Russ? They don't do that. This is Russ Munson, by the way. One of the best things since jelly beans over here. So they start to lose some interpersonal skills. And there is this interpersonal skill, whether you're a single pilot or 172, one of these other aircraft, or you're part of a crew. You got CRM and SRM, right? Well, in CRM, you got to talk to somebody. You got to look at somebody. You got to be the same page as that person. Well, because of all of this stuff that's going on, my grandkids come over, I go up into my office and I turn off the router, now they got no computers. They got no phones. Pa, Chow, where do you going? I said, I'm trying to talk to you. That's what I'm doing. There. So we have some issues with this. So what's a TA aircraft? That's the second end. You see the second end? Okay. So over here, updated January 12, 2019, and there have been more definitions of TAA than you're ashamed to stick at. Well, Tom Glista, AFSA 20, was put in charge of TAA development. And Fitz came out with TAA, the FAA Flight Training Standards, right? How are we going to teach this stuff? I don't know. How are we going to teach this stuff? All right. We got to be computer gurus. So the term technology advanced aircraft is a modern term used to describe light aircraft with advanced equipment. Define advanced equipment. Something more than a cigarette lighter. Well, yeah, okay. Well, back in, let me think now, like mid-1990s, like 1994, 5, 6, Garmin came out with something called a GNS 430. At the same time, I became a fast team manager here in the Northeast. I said, you know what? I think we should do something with this. So I sat down with the fast team, we put something together, and I put up a website. And I gave training on GNS 430. And I got into things that I never knew lived inside that little thing. Next time I got copyrighted by Garmin to present the stuff. They started sending more stuff. But I would get emails from airline pilots. Thank you, because without you, I would have found JFK. Okay. Appreciate that. So now we have this technical advanced stuff has grown. I'm going to show you towards the end something now called the GNS or the GTN 750. Beautiful. I fly a turboprop out of Farmingdale Airport, and you reconfigure the airplane with two of them. Nice. Actually, get to it. Plus, it's PFD and all that good stuff, but we'll get to that. So anyway, what do we got? We got brand new airplanes. There's a Foresto. There's the Cirrus. It comes equipped. All right? Comes equipped. Then we have newly designed classic aircraft with updated avionics. How many have a 172 and you put a 430 in it? I know Gail will maybe doing that here to the equipment here at Mid-Island. You'll be getting training in TAA, and we'll talk more about that as we get down the road here. But that's, we're going to take a classic machine and we're going to update it. The 182 really falls into the category because it has one element that the other ones do not have. Old aircraft that have been retrofitted with new avionics. Well, a lot of old aircraft. They got some very nice classic ones. And you see them around Long Island flying, you know, the old Piper Cubs, tail draggers, etc. So the FAA, a TAA aircraft has a minimum of an IFR certified GPS. There isn't one of those puppies that isn't certified. As long as you keep the database updated. How many days? What's the sequence? Cycle? Is it an early cycle this month? It is. Because February was short a few days, so therefore it's not the end of March, it's a couple of days before the end of March. Good. So, with a moving map display. Yes?
I just want to ask a question when you come back to IFR
Sure.
What we talk about WAS, wide area.
Wide area augmentation system.
Okay. And we go back to that, and we talk about how you have WAS and non-WAS.
Uh-huh.
You have a non-WAS GPS and a WAS GPS, and how some of the 430s that are out there right now, ALN 94s, they come up and they tell you not for IFR navigation, only for situational awareness. And my question is if they all are certified, why aren't they all certified?
They are all certified, except one thing here. You mentioned the WAS. The reason WAS came out gave birth to the LPVs and the LNAVs.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, if they don't have an updatable GPS database, and we came across that problem here with the 89 and the 94s, you cannot use it for IFR ops, VFR only. If it was originally TSO as full updated database, every 28-day cycle, take an IFR. Okay? You're welcome. Jet A Joe, Verizon.net's my home address. Moving on. So we move on here. So we have a certified GPS moving map. The moving map. You remember when the RNAV systems came out? I remember delivering a Beechcraft. Remember that? And you would take a board tack, and you would move it here, you take it here, move it over there, and we actually don't get a straight line at it. Well, this moving map is literally what you have in your car. A GPS, and it's showing you where you're going. And unfortunately, Frank Sinatra's mother was killed because the pilots did not pay attention to where they were going. And they turned left instead of right, and they flew right through the mountain. Okay? So, when you program your stuff, I'll get a little more into this, make sure that the magenta line's going where it's supposed to go. Validate across the top. You're heading the direction. Yeah, Grot is to the northeast, not to the southwest. Okay? And also, if you plug in Bridgeport, don't be surprised if a position in Turkey shows up. I do that in Saudi, and they go, what? When I was flying out of Moscow and Ben Gurion and around the world there, boy, it was a three-man program operation. And what we did in that 727 is that we put a garment on top of the glare shields and we crossed the North Atlantic. Shut up, everybody. Anyway, moving through. And the display can show weather, it can show traffic, terrain graphics, stars, all that stuff came in there. It just has to have a moving map. It doesn't have to have all that stuff. You're going to hit a mountain in 2.5 seconds. Really? Okay. Integrated autopilot, very important, 3 axes. So you have the 172s, you put 430, 530 on board, and you don't have an autopilot, it's not TAA. Okay. And they've changed in the instrument ACS, Airman Certification Standard, Appendix A-2, no, I know, it's a curse, this stuff just stays in my head. It tells you what instrument approaches you have to fly. You have an autopilot, you must do, for an IPC check, autopilot approaches. You must do at least 3 RNAV approaches. Oh, I don't do it very much. Well, you got an instrument ticket, I'm sorry. I can't put an endorsement in your law that says, IPC certified 6157, but no RNAV approaches. Really? I don't think so. So you will be trained. We'll talk more about that later. General, in TA aircraft in which the pilot interfaces with 1 or more computers. That to me is so intimidating. I have to interface with that thing. Does it have a personality? No. I like things that talk back. You know? Well, not disrespectfully, but I like things that talk back. What? Gotcha, man. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm coming up on 50 years for that too. All right, pilots are familiar with the turret glass cockpit. Now, this is something else. You don't need a glass cockpit to be TAA. Okay? All that fancy stuff. Wrap around glass. Not always glass cockpit, but a glass cockpit aircraft is always considered a TAA. Why? Because it has all those other parts. It's got the moving map, certified GPS, and a 3-axis autopilot. That's the basic. Now these guys go overboard, and they start putting on board the MFD, the PFD, let's put a standby, and guess what? Should there or should there not be backup instruments? Well, I've been driving around a Malibu and a couple of TBMs that don't have backups. You know why? Because they have a thing called ARs and ADC and air data computers, and they got doubles. Those separate electrical supply systems. So if one goes out to lunch, you got another one. So then, if you do that, really? So when I give you a partial panel and something like that, I get paper and I cover up your screen, and now you got to do this. Got to look across. And that's one of the issues we have with CFI, is trying to learn to be a CFI, is flying an aircraft on an angle. Because you don't have a clear picture of what it's all, so you kind of bend back a little bit. But when you get into those kinds of airplanes, we have other issues that develop. Human factors. Primary flight display, PFD. Primary flight display has replaced the six-pack steam gauge. One-stop shopping. The ADI is right in the middle. Matter of fact, the whole screen can be an ADI, and they can put the horizontal numbers right across there for the horizon and tell you what your direction of flight is. And then you got an altitude tape, the speed tape, and you got this thing, you got an arrow over here, you got the worm. Really? How do I get a standard rate turn? When I tell people that it's when that little worm comes out of the head of the DG and it turns to an arrowhead, you exceed it 3 degrees per second. Really? Because those are the things that you really have to dive into when you get into the flight manuals and use manuals, pilot manuals for the various navigation systems you have. Multifunctional display, exactly what it means. Multifunctional. It can show you flight plan, it can show you weather, it can show terrain, it shows you moving map, shows you your engine instruments, the whole 9 yards is there. Wow, beautiful. And the 1000 enables you to, if there's a problem, you hit the little red button, and everything shows up on one. You want to talk about clutter. Unbelievable amount of clutter. According to AOPA, more than 90% of the new aircraft are coming offline with the glass cockpit. Yeah, well, that's the new technologies, you know. Prices go up, everything's going up. The Foresto's a new light sport aircraft. So these are all considered TAA, but the primary element is movie map, 3-axis autopilot, and what else? Yeah. You have a 3-axis autopilot. Oh, nobody heard me.
Most flight airplanes, at least the series that I fly, has a 2-axis autopilot. There's no control for the rudder.
But when you make a turn, does it slip or skid?
I don't know what you do with the rudder.
You have to do the rudder on the autopilot turn? Then it's not TAA.
So most services are not TAAs unless they have any good.
They should have that in there. And that definition could shift because you go down to another operation and say, well, it has an integrated autopilot. You define what an integrated autopilot is. Okay? Someone said something over here. It's plugged in. Okay. Integrated, plugged in. What is a wing leveler? Is that an autopilot? Remember with the Moody's? I don't know how many of you have flown Moody's. But they have the wing leveler. Is that an autopilot? So, take it for what it is. I think the Cirrus is a technically advanced airplane, but then again, I take a look. I don't care about the definition. You can see where I'm going to go with this in a few minutes here. Now, look at all these fancy packages. I like this particular airplane. You know what that reminds me of? The old 337. Anybody ever fly one? I used to fly one. Nice airplane. One of the biggest accident causes of the 337 was that they never started the number 2 engine. And in the Air Force, we used them as forward air control aircraft, the O2s. They took all the hits, and the Air Force blew everybody else away.
Trying to be concerned about moving into your engine, especially at 2 down south.
Yeah.
And that's why that line, make sure you start with your engine.
Amen to that.
So repeat all that. Nobody can hear unless I.
Nobody can hear me?
Well, just so everybody's part of the conversation here.
Oh, this gentleman, give him the mic.
Yeah, what it is that the rear engine would overheat. I flew one down south. And the rear engine, if you had a long package, you wouldn't start the rear engine up. Because the way the ducting it wasn't getting enough airflow on the ground, so it started running hot. So they made an AP that they put placards out that must start the rear engine and it has to be the rear engine is running before you take it.
Very true. Amen to that. But this is a nice looking machine. But you can buy one of these. And now look at these differences in the packages. Here we have moving map, a 6-pack, TAA, hybrid twin convention. Here we have TAAs, got everything there. Here we got TAAs, got everything there. But the thing about having audio on a TAA airplane is not really what you should be focusing on. The biggest issue you have, and you face it every morning you face the biggest problem you have. When you look in the mirror, who do you see? You are the biggest problem in flying airplanes, and has been amplified because of this. So we start with ourselves. How many of us, just have to raise your hand, how many know what latent failure is? Okay, latent failure. A latent failure is a failure that nobody even thought could happen. They built this hangar, these steel beams. This can never fall. Really? There's a latent failure here. We haven't found it yet. There's a latent failure in one of those airplanes. Never found it. How many of you watch air disasters? Hello? Gee, everybody see the one about the turboprop where they swore that that engine could never go into reverse while it was in flight? Hello? Yeah, latent failure. We are the latent failure, and each one of us has our own level of failure. And unfortunately, you find out when it's at night, dark, and you get kicked around by turbulence, and you say, what am I doing here? Well, you shouldn't have left in front of us. That's personal limits. We'll talk a little about that. Now, moving on. So here's a GA installation, pretty sharp. Right? I like it, it's nice. But there's too much going on here. Too much, way too much. Because that now brings you inside. One of the biggest issues in the airlines is nobody has their head outside anymore. I had a nice conversation with a company that has a striped tail and big airplanes, and they own a lot of airspace and fly lots of people all over the world. And they've got that heads down issue. Everybody's got to have their head up. On takeoff roll, one guy's driving, one guy's off. There's something called react. Ever hear about it? React, you should brief yourself. Everybody uses safety, and you can brief your passengers. How about react? R-E-A-C-T. Pre-takeoff. RPM, engine instruments, airspeed, center line, takeoff point. You need to have a takeoff point. If you go running by that takeoff point and you're not in the air, it's time for the board. But we'll pick up by that too. Now, here's another nice picture. The Abaddon system, pretty nice. Safety implications. Now, there was a report that came out. Problems found in the accident study, the team of typical of problems that occurred after previous introduction of new aircraft, yada yada, previous safety problems, yada. Predominant TAA system finding is that steps required to call up information and program an approach an IFR certified GPS is nuts. How many fly the 1000? How many fly the 750? 430, right? When you want to do something, what do you have to do? You got to start pushing buttons. And if you don't know what lives behind that button, don't touch it. How do you get there? I hate when I do my home computer. Man, I do something, and my elbow hits something, and all of a sudden, how do I get there? Now I can't find a way to get back out of it. So when I fly this stuff, you know what you can do with your moving map? I ain't going to tell you because you have one in the room. I fly it like an FMS. I have the flight plan up. That's all I need. I got everything else up here. How many have flown synthetic vision? Beautiful. And when it first came out. So, when I got typed in the Eclipse jet, Eclipse gave Abaddon $3 million to develop the system. And they called them up and they said, hey, we're ready for the avionics package. They said, you were serious? Yeah. Well, lucky enough for them that one of their partners in the Eclipse jet was buddies and partners in Microsoft, and they came up with the Envoy system. So I'm at 41,000 feet in this puppy, messing up, heading on out. And I'm saying, all right, I'm going to program the descent. What's going on? Because no matter how much jet time you have, when you fly the VLJs, you must spend some time with a check airman just to make sure that you got everything understood. He goes, Microsoft. I said, oh, great. You know, wait for it. So click it off, flew with that myself. Yeah. The amount of work you have to go through is laborious, boring, and most important, distracting. It takes you away from your primary duty, which is what? Flying. Now, Dave Whitmiller gets into upset recovery. We're trying to lose, we hope I get back there. We're going to dump this word, unusual attitude training, and just stay with upset recovery because pilots get themselves into upsets. They get too high in pitch. Oh my God, I didn't mean to bang that much. I didn't mean to push over that much. I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to do that. Meanwhile, it's done, and now you have to get out of it. That Cirrus is not that forgiving. That's why they put a parachute on it. When it first came out, gee, I'm lost, pop. We had a bunch of those out in California. And then they put it in the other aircraft. We were responsible for having to put a safety placard on the back end because the first responders were getting seriously injured when they responded to some Cirruses that crashed. And they went through the back end of the fuselage, and that little explosive thing went pop. And it hurt the guys and ladies. So that's why that placard's on the airplane. But hey, you cannot over-control these things. The Bristol, beautiful. Short-coupled airplane, very nervous. You move it a little bit, it moves a lot. You get something with longer wingspan, well, trust me, the bigger they are, the easier they are to fly. I've flown a 747 and 75. Oh my God, it's just beautiful. You go into 172, now wait, I gotta be careful here. You know, I'm short 150 foot of wingspan here. I gotta play with it. All right, so again, it's the retrieval of information. We've got bezel buttons. Bezel buttons. If you don't use it, you lose it. And if you're not into every one of those bezel buttons and you're not flying a lot, don't play with them. Keep it simple. Keep it very simple. The flight plan, get the idea where it is in your head, and go. Now, I get on board some airplanes. I get on board airplanes with some pilots. And the first thing they do, they sit down, and they got the 430, 530, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, hold on. Full flight. Okay. Excuse me, Joe. Okay. That's the transmitter. Oh, yeah, hold on. That's my iPad. So what the hell are you looking at? Oh, geez, Louise, you're right. I'm instrument rated, so I don't need to look outside. Chips like that. In Italian, you say, "Bugadito no." I don't know about a Italiano. If you don't understand, I'll give you a beat. But I'll beat you know. So the MFD provides a lot of stuff, but that stuff is too distracting. Where's the airport? I don't know. Let's see where it is. Right, Russ? Where did that airport go? Oh, there it is. Oh, let me make it bigger. Yeah, I see it. Look the hay out the window. It's right in front of you. All right, questions about the risks associated with TAA. That's a pretty picture. So look at this. The one on the left says total. TA, right, pilot-related accident categories hit versus fleet total. Total fleet. On the right side, pilot-related accident category TAA versus fleet fatal. What do we see here? Let's go at the top. Well, not too much going on. Pre-flight problem. Nah. Takeoff, wait a minute. Oh, look at that. Non-TA, 4, TA less, okay. But look what happened here in fatals. We got more coming up. Why is that? And we'll come on down. Weather. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Take a look further down. Ah, no, okay, all right. Uh-oh. Descent and approach. Uh-oh. Go around. Uh-oh. How many of your instructors that you use teach you go-around procedures? Every landing is to a missed approach. Don't forget it. If you make it to the terminal, hallelujah. Otherwise, you're going to train to the missed approach position. That's something we had to re-educate the airlines 2 years ago because they were treating go-arounds as emergency procedures when I got charge of taking care of runway incursion avoidance. And therefore, they put it back in, and that was okay. So we turned some more fuel into noise, okay. Air traffic. buys off on the lateness. At the end of the quarter, they get a report. Is it airline-induced late, or is it ATC? ATC doesn't want any lateness against itself. Right? So everything's got to be on the air carrier. So now they're going to take it around and see why they took it around. But look what we got going on over here. Weather and weather. Have these people become Chuck Yeagers, and he crashed 3 times, because they got that fancy stuff up front? Yeah. So, we need a mic over here. Don, mic? Yeah. Okay. And by what? It is cheapening an instrument rating. Synthetic vision is VFR no matter what. When we had medical accidents all over the place, I went out on a special quiet team, which we weren't even supposed to make out what they call PTRSs, and find out why these machines were crashing. Because they all were coming in with synthetic vision. And helicopters would come into an area, and their tail rotors would hit the wires on the way out. So they got the synthetic vision even better. And the Abaddon, wasn't Abaddon, it was Chilton synthetic vision, came out with concentric circles. And what required was the pilot would say, no, I'm not going to go because the weather is really bad. And the director of the house says, oh, yes, you are, because we're a public service organization. You will get that helicopter over and bring those people back. Yeah, they picked up the people, everybody died. Not good. So they came up with the synthetic vision, concentric circles. So a police officer would walk out with his, and he'd walk out of the area, get to the middle, send it back. They would come in, they would program their chip system, take off, and as they got close, they had one ring, and then all they had to do was keep that helicopter inside the ring on the descent and inside the ring in the ascent. And what were they doing? Fantastic. Then Chilton got bought out, you saw it show up. How many have flown the Garmin synthetic vision? You like it when the signposts come by? I sit at MacArthur Airport. Isn't that cool? Where's the McDonald's sign? You know, I need something to eat. Yeah, weather. Whether we're right or whether we're wrong, this is not good. One of the reasons that's happening, I should talk to you about that in a moment. And also landings. Oh, landings. How many know what the flare aim point is? Just raise your hand. Good, we got one. All right, here we go. Oh, see, I kind of boxed them out for you anyway. So we have had a few and a half, many takeoffs, climaxes, overall speed. One contributing factor for the improvement may be ability to display critical V-speeds. Well, maybe that's what's going on. Yeah, they see the V-speeds right in front of them. But if you have max power, there's only one way to control that speed. That's with pitch, so now they're not pitching too high. And you stay away from upsets, departure stall. We had a departure stall over runway 19 many years ago in the Bonanza at Farmingdale. Straight up, straight down. That was the end of that day. This gives the pilot instant picture. That's good. On the PFD, good. You got your speeds coming up, good. In the airlines, all the speeds come up good, and they have red lines and blue lines and all kinds of symbology, and which, by the way, is not standardized. The symbology is not standardized across manufacturers of your avionics systems. Okay? Some companies use red, some will use magenta, some will use green, some will use blue. Whatever the story might be, you have to know what your symbology is. Glass cockpit have had no fatal accidents related to fuel management. You know why that is? Because there's that range ring that shows up. Isn't that a beautiful thing? But what about happened to your mental piece, where you do your pre-flight planning? I'm going to burn 9 gallons an hour. I got 40 gallons on board. How many hours can I be in the air? And I got to have at least an hour when I touch down to be safe. Do I go by the 70% rule, the FAA? C-minus rule, 70? That's not my deal. But yeah, they got the range ring, so that helps. But where is their attention? Are they checking their fuel? Are they checking their fuel load? Are they checking their fuel balance? Things like such. The TBM has an automatic fuel balancing system. It just flips left, then flips right, then flips left. It just does the whole thing. But you got to manage your fuel. I took this turboprop I fly down to Florida one day, had 179 headwind at 18,000 feet. I went down to 6,000 feet, slowed it down to 140 knots, and I made it. Took a heck of a long time. I was in the air almost 9 hours. But long-range cruise. How many of you know about your long-range cruise pieces? If it doesn't say it, you're not going to do it. Look in that mirror again. Remember, you guys are in control, and young ladies. You're in control. So, despite the promising record for the takeoff climb, accident study for TAA had a higher percentage of landing, 52.6% versus 39, and go-around problems. Why? None of the glass cockpit landing accidents was fatal. However, with slick composite fuselage and wings, these machines are fast. They're aerodynamically slick. There's less stuff hanging out. You come back under power, it doesn't slow down. It's like flying a jet. You fly by, okay. No, wait, I'm still doing Mach 5. Okay. Oh, Mach 5, Mach 8, whatever we're going to do. All right, so the thing is, there's a little different feel on these fancy airplanes. That 182, which belongs to USAIG, is still just nothing else but a big 172. But it's got a lot of stuff out there to slow it down. These other two don't. Very, very slim. Very, very aerodynamic. Next, rad radar. Weather crashes. How many have had Archie Trammell's radar course? Okay. I've been through it so many times. Eastern used him as their main radar person. You can go online. He passed away a few years ago. You can buy his course online. He'll teach you how to use radar. Again, I asked how many watched air disasters. I'm going to give you a quick little thing on radar. 1, 2, 3. Fly into the green. That's all I have to tell you. Because if you're flying to the dark, the black, you have no idea that it could be so turbulent in there that the radar can't give a response, and you're going to get slapped upside the head. And your airplane's going to come apart. Happened to American Airlines. He stayed on the ground at Dallas-Fort Worth on his way to Alabama, waited for the storm to go by, took off, flew right in to the dark area, came apart. Done. Fly to the green. Biggest thing I can tell you. But take that course online. Radar can really fool you. Oh, look at all the colors I got. Yeah, what do they all mean? What's tilt doing for you? You know how to use tilt. When you get down into the terminal area, you tilt it down, and you get a rim, and whatever comes past that rim, you know you're going to hit it, divert. Air France 447. All I had to do is change heading 10 degrees, and 221 people would be alive today. Because they hit coffin corners called a Mach stall. I'm not going to get the aerodynamics, but it's amazing what they don't know. Even the airline side. Even the airline side. That's why their training is so repetitive. So repetitive. Okay. So, like traditional weather information sources, the pilot must be enabled data link. Where all that data link means is tied into something. Now, you got your radar up front. Now, the old radars, Scully found out about this. The old radars that we used to have in the Air Force, and the first ones came out in the 72s, etc., made noise. The birds didn't like it. Turn on the radar, birds would go ping on. Today's radar, they go, oh man, that's cool, yeah. The birds like that stuff. Oh yeah, I'm listening right by now. Dingo, flies right into it. So there is no noise to drive the birds away, so they can be more alert. Because they made the radar quieter for the birds. Oh. Not my idea of fun. All right, VNC to IMC avoidance. This still bothers me. This is the #1 item for the NTSB. How many of you here know how to estimate your in-flight visibility? Do we have a gauge that says in-flight visibility is now 2.5 miles? No. Sorry. Oh yeah, I taught you. It's geometry. I'm going to show you what it is. There was a pamphlet. Where's my fast team guy? Did he leave? There he is. Back before you were born, 1970 or something, the FAA came out with the Action Prevention Program with a pamphlet called Estimating In-Flight Visibility, based on Euclid geometry. Here we go. Here's an easy rule to remember. Whoops, where'd that come from? Weather day, marginal, widespread, etc. Actual, this is an accident, avoid, how. Here we go. All you do is look a little bit off the nose of the aircraft, side of the aircraft, not necessarily 45 degrees, but just off to the side. If you can just about make out, gee, I'm kind of fine, yeah, kind of schwitzy down there. We all know what schwitz means, right? That's a Yiddish term. I learned that when I used to fly to Ben Gurion in Israel, schwitz. But that's more schwitz, bring it up front. So you take a look at that, yeah, okay. That plus your AGL, that's your in-flight viz. We had a guy come out of Beta Field in New Jersey on the way to Farmingdale Airport. Air traffic control gave him a special VFR in airspace, which is illegal, so I sent him back to school. But this guy, I don't know if you ever remember that on Route 110, there was a golf place driving range. All right? He came into Farmingdale Airport below those screens, saw the tower, hung a right turn, almost hit the tower, landed on the taxiway. I got a phone call with Dad and said, can we talk? Now, if you're flying at 4,500 feet, gee, I'm not seeing it. Or out of here, I'm not talking about up there in the Adirondacks because the hemispherical rule is higher because the terrain goes up. But anyway, look around. Oh, no fun. I'm not seeing too well here. Well, let me start down a little bit lower. Uh-oh. You're flying into IMC. If you go below 3,000 feet, AGL, are you legal or illegal? Illegal, because what's the mid-visibility of G and in the airspace? Right. At 2,500 feet, boo, on you. So the first thing you have to do, those of you who are IFR, I don't like this, air file. Do you practice air filing? It's the simplest thing in the world. Do you practice air filing? Now, never mind done it, but you keep practicing it just for the heck of it. You know what? I'm going to air file. It's a beautiful day, I'll air file anyway. I know, I'm going to go to Bridgeport, but they're going to send me by a Boston Logan. I know this is one of those things. Anyway. But, estimating in-flight visibility. If you have to send the maintain ground, head for the coffee shop. Head for the coffee shop. Because if you get into IMC, and even though you have an instrument rating, and as they said earlier, proficiency and currency are two different things. You can be current. I got my 6 hours, 6 months, 6 approaches. But I ain't proficient. Oh, what? You worried? I got synthetic vision. Let's even closer to the ground. And by the way, this is sad. In the airline business, you cannot go past the final approach fix unless you have the minimum visibility for that approach. Unless you're category 3A, which is an auto land, which I used to come in here with a 7.2 with Eastern. And we could get auto land here, but we got it in Canada. But in Part 91, that's a really misnomer too. I'm a 91 operator. No, everybody's a 91 operator. But you're not restricted by a certification certificate. Here's the bottom line. You're allowed to kill yourself. Oh, right? That means go on down 0-0. Don't worry about it. Right, Russ? Is that cool? I'll take my pipe and cut right on down there. FA study. Study is motivated generally by a desire to understand how new technologies found TEH-related accidents. I'm going to move on. Older aircraft with retrofitted new avionics cannot be positively identified in these crashes. This whole 9 yards, we can't point to any one thing with the accidents. But there's one thing that keeps coming up. The study was conducted in cooperation with FAA, Center for General Aviation Research, yada, yada, yada. The study was motivated, yada, yada, yada. Phenomenal TA system finding is that the steps required to call up information. Did we just call over that? It's too much to do in the most busiest portion of your flight. You're en route, eating pretzels, having a Coke, apple juice, whatever. When do you get busy? When you get close to your terminal airport. And how do you compute what altitude you should be at? 3 times the distance out. 3-to-1 ratio. 5 miles out, 1,500 feet, min, above the touch of the airport elevation. 10 miles out, 3,000. 20 miles out, 6. Hello, so you're getting close to your airport, and you know you got to start a step down. Air traffic control does your step down based upon a 3-to-1 rule. So here you are, you're going into the weather. While you were up there, did you pull the squelch button to listen to your ATIS because you're a little bit too far to listen to the ATIS when the squelch button was in? Anybody know about that one? You can do that. You know. The other thing is, you start reviewing the approach. How many fly with paper? I have 2 electronic flight bags. and I still had paper. What's your max temperature limit on your iPad? Max temperature limit on the iPad. How many put the iPad up on the glass here? Good. What the?
I did it once.
That's right. 110 degrees, that puppy shuts down. If it gets too cold, it shuts down. I don't need that thing to shut down. So I use JetView. I put it in my approach plate, put it in the airplane. I don't care whatever. I got it nailed down, man. I brief it up and good. And I got it all up here. I don't have to fly the magenta. All right? I got it here and fly my altitude, airspeed, descent rate, 5 degree ground speed. Is your rate of descent for an instrument ILS? 3 degree to 1. I'm throwing this stuff out just to kind of tease you. You know, come to the IPCs where we do more of this. Anyway, recommendations based upon the analysis of accidents, training procedures, inadequate training systems, and lack of defined procedures. Okay, let me show you something. There it is. Let me show you something again. Cockpit management. How well do you manage your house? Do you help the wife? Does the wife help keeping everything in place? Or are you doing this? Stepping over things. I got my grandkids all over the place. I have to do that. But anyway. Automation has been equal rather than, sorry about that, following a design strategy. This all comes in how they design this stuff. They didn't design it initially for you. My word is, how is the human being going to accept it? How do we make it simple? Sometimes I find to do Office 365 not so simple. But you get to learn it, but you have to keep using it. Same thing with this stuff. You have to keep using it. Automation is present to assist the crew. It works for you, you don't work for it. Issues concerning cockpit automation. Situation awareness, situation complacency. Complacency, what is that all about? Oh, it knows where it's going. I asked a guy the other day, I said, hey, how was your flight yesterday? Like all my flights, same. I said, no, each flight is different. Don't forget. Each flight is different. If you ever start to think that this flight is like the one you flew yesterday, you look for trouble. Maintenance, captain, command authority, design, crew interface, pilot selection, all this stuff here, growing concerns. These are all the definitions. You can look them up. More interface design, laws of system awareness, laws of situation awareness. Because they're too busy. Let's see, what's in Wall Street Journal saying? My stock is down. And the airplane's going way to fly. They can do it. Airbus technology. Positive gear up, wake me up and get the La Bourget. They're changing that. There's a joke out in the airline industry that if you're going to install a brand new emergency procedure in the Airbus, you're going to hit a button and the stick's going to move between your legs. Definitions continue. We're not going to beat that up. Automation problems does not necessarily reduce your workload. It increases your workload. I'm going to put GPS in this thing. No, wait, we'll slow down. Find out what the heck you're getting into. Related error. Data entry. Ding, 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 ding. Do you check and verify before you hit the enter button? Like I mentioned that thing about Bridgeport. You will come up with a waypoint in Turkey. I let them go do it. Boom. All of a sudden, you got a Cessna 172, 18,000 miles. Wow. Did you pass it? Did you not see that? You know, as you're going south and you should be going north, so you have to have your direction of flight. System workarounds, overriding, computer programs, automation mode, all that computer nonsense, and all you want to do is to put in a flight plan that's going to assist you in the new navigation procedures to give the shortest line between A and B, which is not necessarily a straight course. Based upon how long you're flying, you take the great circle routes, which typically doesn't work in here. And anyway, in New York, they're going to send you up towards Albany anyway before they send you south most of the times. That issue. Automation plus traditional. Pilot inattention. Now, how can pilots ever be inattentive in the airplane? Right, Russ? Never happen, right? Distraction. Are you ever distracted? Wow, look at the boats out in the river. Oh, you dropped your coffee all over the place. All right, automated system design, that. All right. So what's it doing now, and how do you stop it? Failure, component, engineering, latent failure, that's you. You are the latent failure. You realizing that you are the biggest issue in that cockpit puts you situationally aware, keeps you alert, keeps you focused, keeps you on target. Is that right? Is Boston really to the northeast? Yeah, okay, this is the airport. That's my waypoint. Okay, then. Are you self-checking that thing? Sir. I'm sorry, will you say that? Do we have a mic for him? Yeah, let's see that.
You could be less attentive when ADSB.
All right, sir. Just going to ask you a question. What's the purpose of ADSB? Collisions. How about the Capstone project up in Alaska? No, it's going to yell at you. It's going to yell at you. Right now, how many of you have TARS? Traffic alert. Doesn't it yell? Oh! Yeah, some of these airplanes are better. So now, it's just an assist. It doesn't mean that I'm just going to sit here and wait for it to wake up. You move into a terminal area, be aware there are other people flying other than you. And what particularly I like about having an instrument rating, when the weather goes down, I want to go up. Because the wackos usually are on the ground. And I don't fly low. I don't fly low. I like to go high. Sir. Anybody want to take a break? 3 to 5? Let's take a break before we move on to the next one. Okay, 5 minutes. Stretch out, I know.
Don't look at me. I had to do that on the couch.
And where is this held? In Bayport? Where's the I'm not familiar with Bayport. Airdrome, no. You're not.